Why hello there, you wonderful beings on planet Earth. Now, today we're going to be talking about the disposable vape paradox, because it's really starting to irritate me the way that this country kind of bottlenecks the disposable vapes and makes it so they are kind of more of a problem than they need to be. Now, what I mean by this, now we are under TPD regulations, TPD law in the UK, meaning that any device sold needs to have a 2 milliliter tank or capacity. So this tank, this is the Geek Vape Obelisk tank. Basically just a Zeus tank with a bottom airflow rather than a top airflow. Now out of the box, that will come with a 2 milliliter capacity. Separately, you can buy an extension bubble glass, which will obviously make it fit more juice in. But when it is sold, it has to have that 2 milliliter capacity. It's silly, I know. I'm not exactly sure why that is. It might be just like a daily recommended allowance of juice, but what it doesn't take into consideration is the strength. Because with the disposable vapes, for example, you are on the legal limit. You're at 20 milligrams, 2%, which in this country is the strongest you can get. But obviously you still have that 2 milliliter restriction. So if I was using a low strength or a 0 milligram or something in here, I could go through 2 milliliters in like an hour or so. Whereas a disposable vape, it's going to take you a lot longer to get through that same 2 milliliters, because you don't need to vape it as much, because you feel satisfied when you do vape it to put it down because it's got that extra nicotine in. But the specific problem and the way that it kind of contradicts itself with the law in this country, by limiting the disposables to 2 milliliters, bear in mind they cannot really be recycled and they're incredibly wasteful. There's a perfectly reusable battery inside every single one that gets thrown away. By restricting the disposables to 2 milliliters, let's say I lose my vape. Let's say it's gone for a week. Now, if I was in another country, I would be able to buy maybe 1 or 2 disposables, have them fill that gap that my vape, until it's either replaced or found. I accept that that's not an ideal scenario and there is going to be some degree of wastage, whereas in the UK, if you're buying them from a legitimate shop where they sell everything that they're allowed to sell in this country, you will literally have to buy 4 or 5 disposables, or a much higher amount of disposables than you would in a different country. For example, here I have one of the Pro Geek Bars. Now this one, if we have a little look on the back, you can see there it has 4.5 mils of e-juice in. Now technically this does not meet the UK regulations, so would not be allowed to be sold legally here in the UK. One of these would probably last me at least 4 or 5 days. I would get out of one of these ones. So should I lose my vape, this is all I would need to buy. Now if I was to buy the ones that are allowed to be sold within the UK, I would have to buy a lot more of them, leading to more wastage, leading to more of a problem. Now, this is why the disposables irritate me so much, and why this video was titled The Disposable Paradox, because the whole point is that you don't want excess wastage. We're trying to be a greener society for various reasons at the minute, and the disposable vapes are an incredibly 50s attitude to something that is just disposable. Why make it disposable? Just for the convenience of having it be available to more people, because they don't need to get over that initial sort of entry level of difficulty of understanding how it works and going into a shop and having it kind of explained to them. All you need to do is open it up and use it. I understand the disposables definitely fit a purpose, but because of the way that the restrictions in this country affect the purpose of those disposable vapes, like I say, if this was a 2 milliliter capacity, it would basically be done within 36 hours and I would have to buy another one. Because it is a 4.5 mil capacity, you're looking at 3, 4, 5 days that you get out of it before you need to replace it. And the wastage is essentially the same, but because of the way the law affects the disposables in this country, it makes there be far, far more of an issue than there has to be with the disposables. It's just something that I haven't really seen anyone else talking about, and I think about on a daily basis, because people have to come in and buy massive quantities of disposables, whereas they could either just buy a regular device, absolutely, or should we be able to sell the higher puff disposables, they would be able to get 1 or 2, and it's going to fit that purpose much better, and it's going to have nowhere near as much wastage. So it is a bit of a paradox. I hope this has been some food for thought for you. I hope it's been sufficiently entertaining and educational. Don't forget to press all the buttons down below, like button, subscribe button, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought. Do you have any input into this? Because it is something I would quite like some other people's thoughts on. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok as well. I appreciate you watching this video. I love you very much, and I will see you all very soon.